ready to start laying some paint down, and as you guys may know, I think I've said it before, I was a tester's guy, and still am for the Model Masters that I have left. But I have been searching around for an alternative because obviously Model Masters is out of business, and I had tried the Mission models, acrylic. Wasn't too happy with that. The kit actually recommends these Mr. Color colors, so I thought I'd maybe give those a try. So I went and got these three. Now the engine gray, so this is what I was going to use, which is the correct FS number, 36081, I believe. And I'm like, okay, so let me see how that's gonna look. And I did the two next to each other on here, and you know, that's the testers, that's the Mr. Color, and I have to say that color-wise they're identical, but finish-wise, that Mr. Color just laid out really nice. We'll see, maybe I found a new go-to. And what I like is these are FS accurate, whereas the Tamiya, I learned the hard way, is not. Anyway, I'm gonna give this a try and start with the rotors. So far, so good, I have to say. I like it. It goes down like an enamel, and we'll see how it holds up, but yeah, it went down really nice. So I may have found a new go-to. It is Saturday morning, the 2nd of September, and the Whirlybird group build ends on September 5th. I'm going to make a valiant effort to try to get as far as I humanly can on this over this weekend. I'm still holding off on this damn PE until the very last minute. I've got those things kind of ready to try to figure out, but what I'm going to do is paint first, so that then while this stuff is drying, I can work on that. So we will see how far we get this weekend on this. So here's the list. Mask all the openings. I first kind of did tape around the inside, you know, sticking on the inside out, and then laid a piece on top of that facing in, and then around the other side. I just went around each opening, working from the inside out, and then measured a piece to fit that opening from the spare doors and laid that over it. Then do the black, the engine top, you know, up there, and then there's a spot up there, and then later I can use the decals to, you know, mask that. Just finished up the black, so I did the nose there, and then on the spine there, and then the insides of the engine housing, and then over here I've got the wheels or tires, the back of that engine housing, and then the inside of that as well. Then the white, those wheel wells, the landing gear doors, and the tail for the yellow. So, you know, that tail is yellow. I'm going to paint white under there because, you know, yellow never looks good unless, you know, it's on top of a white. It just doesn't do well over other colors. And here's the tester's white. So I got in those wheel wells and around that tail in the back. And then the landing gear doors, the inner parts of the wheels, and then those tubes. So that's two colors down. Then mask the rotor tips. Oh, so those dried, and yeah, I really look at that finish. Maybe you can see it. I really like that, and it seems sturdy. So we'll see. Maybe Mr. Color is my new paint. And then paint the tail yellow, and then paint those rotor tips. Okay, just shot the yellow, did the tips of those rotors, and there's the tail section with the yellow here over the white on both sides. I have to say, I like this Mr. Color stuff. So far so good. It goes down like an enamel. I think it is an enamel, but my only complaint so far is cleaning the airbrush is a little more difficult. It took quite a few squirts of this to, you know, to get it to clear out until I think I threw that one away till it would spray clear onto a paper towel. So, but I'll, you know, I'll take it if it works well. So far so good. Okay, so I just unmasked these rotors, and yeah, it even takes the masking tape well, just like enamels would. So yeah, I like it. And then next is masking the fuselage for the black, for the tail, the wheel wells, and then masking that yellow. So basically all the various colors you see here before we get to the engine gray. So there I masked the wheel wells for the white, basically working from the inside out, and then used the decal as a template to mask off that black section. All right, there's the black on the nose, working from that and that. I think I got it, we'll see. So now just for the black, that piece back there. It's similar to how I used that piece and my calipers to measure out that. Now for that area behind the engine there, I'll do the same thing with, you know, with that decal. I don't know if you can see that. Oh yeah, I guess you can. So that's the decal below there. I'll trim a little more around the edges and then put that on there. I'm working on that yellow now, and I think as per those references and, you know, these up here, I believe I have the outline of that yellow. Obviously underneath that tape is the edge of the line, but now I've knocked off a ton of PE. You can see it all sitting there, and I don't want to knock that handle off when I mask it. So now I think I'll mask it with the parafilm. So then I've rolled up this tape kind of back on itself so it's double-sided, and I'll put one of those rolls on either side of that handle to try to protect it, and then parafilm over it. So we'll see if that works. All right, there's that tail. So I have the rolled tape on either side of that handle, and then just went over that in between the tape with the parafilm. Okay, so with that yellow being masked and all of the black, the last thing there is reattach any PE, and indeed I have some. So the very last thing that came off was one of those spotlights. I have to put that back on. I just got this handle back on up there. I'm letting that dry. As I reviewed my references, this PE that was here, basically what it's for is, you can see it here, and he's pulling on that. It's when they tie back the rotors, it holds it down. I've seen another reference as well. So, you know, the way I'm modeling it, it's not at that point yet, so to speak. So I took those off. They kept falling off, so I just left them off. So I'm not putting those back on. And then there were two antenna-like structures underneath. I just couldn't find it in the references anywhere. You can see it's not there. It's not there in front of the wheel. It's not there. You know, and that's the actual one I'm modeling, so I'm leaving that off. Then on the top, before I paint, I'm going to put the small crane on to the model. It goes over there. And then I'm going to attach the little hook piece to this, but leave this off and paint it separately because it's going to be, you know, I don't want it to be in the way when I pull off all that masking because it goes right there. So that'll be like one of the last things I attach. All right, I got that drop in there. There's the crane. Okay, I've got the gray all down. I did all those parts. Those are the doors, the engine housing, those back wings and their supports. And then if you can see it there, I still haven't put these two parts together, the big crane. So I've got those parts. I'll eventually put those together, and, you know, but that'll be before I put them on the plane. those are the landing gear doors. And then this is the fuselage, and I am just super happy with that finish. Wow. It's nice and shiny, and not so much on these. I remixed and I went a little thinner, I guess you would say, more thinner in here. And yeah, it came out nice and shiny. So, and luckily it sits right on those, with a little bit of sticky tack, sits right on those supports for those tubes, whatever they are. Then, I don't know if you can see underneath there how that came out. So, gonna let that dry and unmask it and see how it comes out. So then while that's drying, I can finally then get started on figuring this stuff out. I'm kind of don't have any choice but to finally attack this, which will be next episode. So until then, thanks for watching and happy modeling.